Welcome, everyone. I'm talking with Colton here. He's one of my clients the last a little under 3 months now that we've been working together. He's a business owner, a couple businesses, an entrepreneur. He loves traveling, both domestic, Hawaii. We both agree Hawaii is fantastic. I've been there as well. He loves getting internationally as well. And this guy's such a hard worker, and he balances work and family quite a bit, making family a big priority. He actually moved from Florida back home to Ohio to be closer to them. So we're going to talk about a lot of things that Colton's done in his journey to self-improvement and how to he optimize his health, nutrition. So Colton, let's jump in, man. Thanks for hopping on here. Really appreciate your time. So let's talk about who you are and what do you do? Give us a rundown.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was the long time coming. This has definitely been something I've been wanting for a super long time. So I'm so happy that I found you. So I have told you many times I'm more appreciative to you than I can put into words. But yeah, I've always been since I graduated high school. I was in the military for a couple of years. Kind of gave me a lot of those good morals to follow in terms of the fitness and health stuff. But as I started multiple businesses and started to focus more on my professional career, I sort of lost sight of those things. And that's when, I think a lot of people find themselves in that shoe or in those shoes, and you start to let life kind of take over. And then I got to a point where it was like year by year by year, I was losing myself, and I would get very emotional over it. I just felt like I wasn't who I used to be. And I would think of myself as I was in high school, even though I didn't look like that anymore. So living in Florida and growing, trying to go to different businesses with different people and the stresses of that, and then moving, and then all these things happening and having to move back from Florida to Ohio, and then having some loss along the way, and just moving and from different place to different place, different addresses, and all that sort of stress. The one thing I told myself is I can't lose myself again, and that's when I went on to Thumbtack, and I found you, and yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, definitely. And so the we started before you left, right?
Yep.
And that was a critical important. You're like, hey, I really want this, but I'm going to be moving as well. And I just posed a question: do you think you'll do better with me hanging out in your corner while you travel, or without? And so, it was an
Right.
easy thing of like, okay, yeah, we're going to get this going because regardless, the time's going to pass. It's going to be a difficult situation regardless of just moving your whole house up and all your things, your personal items and such, and then getting transplanted back into your home
Exactly.
area and stuff. So excellent. So we were where were you at when we started physically?
Yeah, and that was one of my just to mention it, that was one of my biggest things that I tell myself is, oh, I can't start now. I gotta wait. I gotta wait. I gotta wait. It's just this excuse I kept telling myself. When we first started, I was I like borderline 248, 249 morning
Okay,
weight.
right,
So pretty much at the end of the day, I was like 252, 253 when I was full of food.
right.
And now less than 3 months later, 30 pounds down, it's surreal to me because I've wanted that for so long. It's so just to say that out loud, I feel like I think I'm in a fever dream.
Right. You're watching someone else's testimonial, right? No, baby, this is yours. So we
Right.
down about 30 pounds. What was the key word? There's one word, start with an O, that you kept wanting to do in the beginning.
Overeating, or otherwise known as binging at night.
No, that's what you were doing that
Oh,
caused you
oh, okay.
problems. But what was the word that you wanted to accomplish and
Oh,
achieve
yes.
that started with an O?
I wanted to optimize my
Yes.
routine because it
Right.
was very unoptimal for a very, 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 very long time.
Right. And just like your businesses, you've done a couple and you've done very well in them. There's systems, there's key performance indicators, there's an ROI. You saw my one video, RO iron, the other
Yeah.
day. We're laughing about it, but those are important things that in business you identify with, and those are some of the things that we started talking about. What is going to how do we take Colton as a business leader and a thinker there to then apply it to his health. So we started with systems and breaking it down of what were some of the systems and optimization that really worked well for you.
It was overcoming the simple objections that I had to myself on why I couldn't do it. And the biggest one was I was binging at night. That was a huge thing.
Right.
One of the biggest things that you helped me with was break is splitting up. I tried so many things. I was doing intermittent fasting. I was eating 1 hour a day. I was eating only in the mornings, only at night. I was trying all these things,
Right.
and none of them were working. So I think one of the trials that we did that just changed everything, and you'll agree, was when we split up my meals and to 4 meals 4 times throughout the day.
Right.
But my last meal, I had this mental preconceived notion that I couldn't eat late at night. And
Right.
you were like, why? If you're binging at night, just make your fourth meal later. And it
Right.
was like this light bulb went off, and as soon as we started doing that, it was like the scale just went straight down.
Right. Right.
um,
Right.
that was a big thing. And then another huge thing was track first, then eat second. I
Right.
was eating first and then tracking, and then obviously you always go over. So my sugar, I mean, I was having a coffee every single day, and I was getting about 60 grams of sugar before 9 a.m.
Right. Right. You were the
So
Dunkin'. You Colton ran on Dunkin', right? Everyone knows you for your Dunkin'. What
that's
are you
very
not
true.
doing in the morning right now?
Yeah, that was one of those things that when I started to see the results, and it just started happening, you become addicted to it, for lack of better terms, and those things that you used to lean on so much don't seem as enticing when you have the results that you've
Right.
been desiring for so long.
Right. We still have Dunkin' sometimes, but it's later in the
Yes.
day. It's more
Yep.
strategic. It's not just this is what Colton does. And it was pretty funny when people started commenting like, "Hey, where's your Dunkin' at? What are you doing? Who is this
That's
person?"
right. Right.
So that's awesome.
Hmm.
That was one thing. What we realized is that you were so focused on work, 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 and productivity and business hours that when you got done, you just kind of like
Yep.
wanted a sense of relief and
Hmm.
relax. And a lot of people do that, especially if they're pushing their owners, entrepreneurs, they're grinding, going, trying to build something for themselves and to better the world. That's ultimately what we're here for.
Right.
And so then there's this open space that you end up filling with food, and it just not thinking about it. And as soon as we created a strategy around that and were able to optimize, you
Hmm.
were then able to not is just that, oh, I can eat here because it's not calorie burning in a time that I'm
Right.
awake. It's calorie burning in the 24-hour time frame or a 7-day time frame or even a month time frame, or 3 months we're down 30 pounds in under three
Hmm.
months so clearly we're in a calorie deficit, even
Right.
though you're eating at night after 9 p.m., which is, the 1950s rule of don't eat after 6. You're like,
Right.
I don't go to bed till after midnight.
I
I'd be
know.
starving if that were the case, right? That doesn't make a lot of sense. So,
Hmm.
all right, excellent, excellent. And so we know what you did beforehand. What was that initial motivation that got you to actually reach out and start looking?
Yeah, the the
That
two things, the
driving
big
force.
for sure. The first one was telling myself, like, I could see that everything else in my life was like at the 10, like it was stress. There were so many things I was losing. And I told
Right,
myself that I can't lose myself again in this process. I couldn't. I can't do that because I've
right,
wanted this so bad for so long. And the biggest thing was I wanted to just feel good. I wanted to look in the mirror and be like we talk every week on the phone, and you can hear, like, I look at myself in the mirror, and I get shocked. Like, I don't recognize myself.
confidence.
And it's like,
Hmm.
this is all new to me. The way that I look is it's like I'm still learning how to be the way that I am. So I think being so unhappy with how I look for so long and just not wanting to lose myself again, those two things resulted in me saying, like, I'm at my bottom. I can't do this again. So that's why I had to reach out to you.
Right. And that's what we're doing is we're recreating a new identity of who you are. And it's not this old habits of eating or not eating or not having carbs or whatever the old situations are where, say we lost 30 pounds without eating carbs, which you eat carbs. Chipotle for a while is one of your go-to meals when you're on the run, but we gave it a system, a structure on how that you could go there and implement their food into our results and our process. So when we get to where we're at now, you're not changing who you are or something or adding carbs back in. We've been this steady evolution of who you are as a person, what your
Right.
goals are, what's important to you. So you're just creating this new identity for yourself, most importantly, and the person that you see in the mirror and your mindset of confidence now. But then also how that shows up in the world, the people around you, you have employees, you have other people that you're responsible for, and you're showing up for them. And then also your friends and family. You're leading in your health, not because you're telling them or you got to do this diet thing or whatever. No, it's just, you're leading by example because you show up for yourself. And that's really important.
Yep.
So,
And Andy Elliott, the last thing I'll say is he's he's on social media, whatever, big entrepreneur, but also into fitness. And you attract, if you're in shape, you are a walking discipline.
yes,
I don't have to guess if you're disciplined or not, because I can tell that you take care of yourself. You
right,
eat consistently, you train, like you're walking when you look the way that you look and you got, some freaky forearm veins poking out. You don't have to guess if that person's disciplined. You can tell they put in the work. So I think that
right.
that confidence carries into other areas of your life too, not just I just want to look good and it's all about having abs. That's not what it is. It's the mindset
Right.
that it puts you in to be
Right.
successful in life.
I often find that business owners, entrepreneurs actually make more money as soon as they start focusing more on their own personal health,
Mhm.
nutrition, their fitness, because they exude that confidence, not in
Mhm.
an say ego way or something, but they're that extra inch taller. They have more presence. They talk in clear and confident ways to demonstrate that they know what they're doing. Your body
Right.
is a direct reflection of what's going on in the background of your life. So it's
Yeah.
important for you to know and understand if you're overweight, there's unresolved issues that are going on. Say
Mhm.
in your situation, the binge eating, why were you doing that? Well, you didn't have a structure. It was just a stress relief. There was a whatever other reason people could, eat more
Yeah.
food at night and just, I DoorDash. I've had people $40 on a DoorDash meal that was 30 minutes warm or 30 minutes cold and showed up and it was just not what they needed. And we could have
Right.
made a simple shift to have them more prepared, save a lot of money along the way there too. What made this different for you that really got it to click? Those light bulb moments. You talked about one earlier. Why? Why
Yep.
this?
The two things that really clicked was you had it wasn't just you had the plan in place, and I was trying to rush to get to step two before we even got to step one. I was always trying to think ahead. I remember one of our first coaching calls, you're like, man, you got all this knowledge, but you're like 10 chapters ahead right now. Like, let's
Right.
go back, let's take back step one. And the thing that really clicked was you really focus on the basics so we can start to see that in the beginning, like really not
Right.
the basics as in they're easy, but the basics as in like what the things that you should be doing. And once we started doing that, then phase two, we started the next program, we started to do that dialing in, locking
Right.
in, really fine tuning. And that's when it gets fun because now you're like these little tweaks you
It's
make, your
working.
body starts to transform. So
Right.
that was the big one. I think that the tracking first and eating second, you just start to become more. Nobody starts tracking their macros and their calories and then regrets doing it.
Right. Right. Right.
Like
Right. Right.
nobody,
Right.
you not doing is what you regret. So I think that you just, always saying like, just be a little more cognizant of what you're eating and tracking it. And then let's start back with the basics, track first, eat second,
Right.
want to have more fibrous carbs versus just like, the stuff I was eating, just, double sour cream, triple white rice, that kind of stuff, you know. So that was
Right.
those were like a lot of light bulb moments. There was a lot of just conversations that we would have where just like these things would go off and it was just it was what you said, but it was the way that you said it to me in the
Yeah.
context because the third answer, I guess, would be that you're customizing the plan. It's not a one size fits all. You're customizing
Right.
it to the lifestyle that I have. So it's optimizing it for me because my weaknesses, the things that I'm good at, the areas that I struggle in. So just it was these little tweaks that we were making the whole time, and it was just customizing it for me makes it that much easier to follow.
Right. Right. I totally agree. So, a couple of things that we've done. One, make you calorie aware, being
Mm,
intentional about what food is going in. We gave structure around meals. We focus on nutrition a lot more first because as soon as we get that going properly, then they always say, abs are made in the kitchen, or,
right.
that's where you can burn 200 calories in 45 minutes of walking. You can eat 200 calories in 2 bites. And so if you want to change your health, obviously we have to start with nutrition. We already know that you loved working out. So we allowed that to just stay in place initially and focus on the basics of how many calories you're eating, what better times. And we did that very well, so that there was this instant relief of, wow, I can eat later in the evening after I'm done working and it not cost me, an inch on my waistline the next day.
Right.
And then we structured the meals themselves to be more better optimized. So we have protein and vegetables, some fruits, some starchy carbs. We didn't leave anything out. You never felt without. And for you and I, we decided that tracking was the best. Not everyone does that. Some people are
Right.
like, I don't know what that is, or I don't want to spend time doing that. That's fine. There's lots of different ways to get there, but that general basics of nutrition is what we spent a lot of time focusing on to help you clearly understand how much you should be eating and how that's going to directly affect your body, your energy. And even now, our last call, you talked about how, wow, I'm leaning out and I'm gaining strength in the gym. This seems impossible, but you just keep putting a little bit more weight on as we go. So I appreciate that. And you came ready, willing, and able, right? You were ready to be coached. You, all objections aside, there was no one that you had to go discuss this with. Like, it was just a heart to heart with yourself. Colton, I need action. I need some help, and I need to change because I'm creating a new life up in Ohio, and I want to show up as my best for myself. So, excellent. Well, let's wrap up here. If someone was in a similar situation as you were, Colton, 30 pounds ago, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
It's like I use the same analogy in the gym. You have to look at yourself and have a conversation. You either do it or you don't. If you don't do it, your life's going to be the same as it is now forever. It's not going to change. It's going to get worse. Just do it. It's the best decision you're going to make. You're going to look back, because I would watch videos just like these and be like, there's no way that's not going to be me. It's been too long. There's no way that I can be in those shoes. And when I said, you know what, I had all this knowledge, but I'm like, I need to just put it to the side. I need to hire a coach, because accountability is huge. Having someone to, you even text me every night at about 10:30 and say, don't overdo it. Like, those things, like, those things
just
help.
say no.
Yeah, just say no is like, just start, just try it. Try it for 5 weeks. If you see no results, then what do you have to lose? You tried it. But I promise you, after 5 weeks, I was down like what, almost 18 pounds or something.
Right.
So I would say that
15 plus, you're crushing.
15 plus is like 3 pounds a week, every single week. So if you were in my shoes, which I know a lot of people are, just try it. That's the only thing you can do is try, because if you don't try it, you're never going to know. And you're going to end up just staying the same forever, because obviously you haven't changed it on your own yet. So the odds of you doing it on your own are pretty slim.
Right. I'm like the Mickey to your Rocky, right? You're going to put in the work, and I'm in your corner helping you fight the fight, giving you the clarity, the confidence to take action and not have to second guess, or is this whatever thing I Google going to work, or this YouTube thing, whatever going to work. That's not it. It was just, we looked at your life, your lifestyle, your goals, your prerogatives, what was important to you, created a plan that made sense, that fit in, was even, science backed and logical, right? There was never once you're like, Brian, this sounds like a weird fad thing or something. And none of that stuff, because we're using actual knowledge.
Yeah. And it would actually be the opposite. I would tell you things that were kind of fads, and you would break it down. And you would say, listen, you would look at the logic behind it. You would explain to me different things, and then it would click. I'm like, yeah, these are just, so many of these fad diets are just that. They're fads. It's like, you need to look at the basics and just track. And so, yeah, I think that was another big
even say that intermittent fasting for you, that may have been something you thought, oh, I have to do this, but the delaying of that first meal until afternoon was what was causing the back end swing of eating too much. So we gave you some food, and you work out in the morning. Why are we not eating right after your workout to replenish and start that recovery process for the next time you're going to go to the gym, because you love being in there and hitting it hard? So we actually moved up that first meal, and then your, say, second meal was in that 2-ish, 3-ish, and all of a sudden you got into the evening, feel content, not this ravenous underlying hunger that was just there for you to eat. So So
Yeah, by
excellent. Well, I
that,
appreciate your hard work. We have phase 3 that we're going in. We're just a stone's throw out of that ideal of what you're looking for. So we're in the middle of this process. So
yeah,
he showed up. He needed to help to lose weight. We've gotten him down. You saw in the pre-roll there. He had this X marks the spot where I showed up, and then it goes a downward, like a bad day in the stock market. It's like, meow. And so from there, we're down almost to the bottom where you stand in front of the mirror, you have full confidence in yourself. And at that point, that's when we start to go up. So the goal for us is to, again, use science-backed information. We're going to start adding more calories back in and giving you that, just that the muscle building, that energy, and that confidence there that you want and need to go do bigger, better things. Because
right,
if I can continue this progress of giving you into that optimized self, then you're going to just thrive. It's a game changer when people are just operating on all cylinders. And you know that in business, when you walk into someone's office or a meeting or something, you know if they're full go or if they're getting held up by their weight. So
right.
well, I really appreciate your time and focus and energy today. If you're someone that you are listening here and you resonate with Colton and you know that your body weight, your health routines, habits, behaviors are holding you back, you need a body transformation, a lifestyle transformation, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to meet you where you're at. I'm going to help guide you through what is the next best thing to do. I'm here to simplify. We already know that you have a lot on your plate and we don't want to overwhelm you. I actually want to make this an easier process to fit into your everyday, because what Colton and I did in 2 weeks, we did in 2 months, and we're going to aim to keep doing in 2 years, because we build that sustainability and lifestyle. So he's just a walking billboard of optimal health, and he doesn't have to do any weird things or whatnot to stay there. So I appreciate you, Colton, and I appreciate you for watching this if you are there. And if you need any help, please feel free to reach out at my website, and we can definitely engage and help you make the transformations that you need for yourself. So thank you again. I appreciate you.
No problem.